Good evening. My name is Anthony Nicolaitis. I'm of Mexican Greek descent, and I'm hooked on fishing. Sort of. I really do love fishing, but it's rather odd because I'm not really very great at it. I don't really spend any time practicing the proper knots or working on my casting skills. I get seasick every time I go out, so I have to take motion sickness pills every time I go fishing. I love going fishing, and I even love shopping for fishing stuff, almost to the point where it's an addiction, and I hate shopping. Oh, okay. When I was 8 years old, my father, grandfather, uncle, and cousins took me fishing for the very first time. It was kind of a rite of passage in my family. I caught 7 fish. Now, and that was the most of any of us. I'll tell you that back then those fish were this big. Hindsight now tells me they were probably like this because mackerel aren't very big. But boy, they sure did taste great. Nothing tastes better than fish you catch yourself. I cherish all those trips, getting up early in the morning, driving over to my grandparents' house because that's where everybody met up. And I remember my grandpa always taking boiled potatoes and boiled eggs. And I remember my grandma packing us burritos for the trip. And it was always saltwater fishing. As I got older, I moved away, and Dad and I would get together for either Father's Day or his birthday and go fishing. His birthday was June 21st, so it was always a week or two away from Father's Day. So what I would do during this time frame is I would buy him either a new fishing reel or a new fishing pole or a tackle box for either one, whichever one came first. And then the next holiday, his birthday or Father's Day, we would go and use it. So it was pretty cool. And we developed this really cool routine where if the fishing wasn't great, we would go and have a really nice dinner. And if the fishing was good, we'd rush home to clean our big fish. We continued this for many years, and we once even got my half-brother to go fishing with us. And he was sick the entire time. But for Dad and I, it was our best day fishing ever. We actually caught multiple bass of 6 pounds or more, which was pretty good for saltwater bass. And we actually the 2 of us caught the limit for the 3 of us. So it was a great day of fishing, even though Nick missed it. As Dad got older, I eventually moved back home to finish paying off the house and to take care of my folks. We'd still go fishing, but often Dad got tired, and sometimes he'd take naps while I was out there still trying to catch the big one. We'd kept our policy going that if the fishing was great, rush right home. If the fishing was bad, then we were going to go eat something delicious to make the time worth it. And over time, though, eventually Dad got sick, and in 2004 he passed away. In more recent years, I would go fishing with my friends. Now, my 2 buddies have been my friends since we were like little kids. I mean, this is over 40 years of friendship. And they both normally do better than I do at catching fish, which is really ironic because since I do have the addiction to buying all the fishing gear, they were catching fish with my stuff. Oh! But it was all worth it. We had fun catching up on old times, having some beers, and just talking. The memories are great, and the fishing stories keep growing and growing and growing. I even conned Mary Lou to going with us. Just a few times. And of course, this meant I got to go shopping and buying her own fishing reels and fishing poles and fishing gear. I even tried trout fishing, which is freshwater fishing outside more normal element. I got second place in a trout tournament. And this is really shocking because that was the very first trout I had ever caught. Wow. But I won a bunch of cool fishing stuff, which also fed into my addiction of collecting tons and tons of fishing gear that I don't really even know how to use. And it also gave me an excuse because now I can go freshwater fishing, buy more fishing poles, more fishing reels, and so on. And I never really have invested a lot of time into learning it. So I started thinking, as I'm putting together my speech, because I need to share something that you don't know about me. My fishing addiction, that I'm hooked on fishing, is something that not everybody knows because it doesn't always come up in common conversation. But I realized something that I never really knew before. I'm not really hooked on fishing. I found that I'm hooked on the memories that come with going